Welcome to Saturday Racing. It's May 11th, 2019, and we have winds out of the southeast at about 11 with a windward leeward course set up. Flying Scot class is going to start first. We've got about 30 seconds to go before the start, and I like how this boat is getting set up close to the line, going fast. And 5220 needs to stay clear of that leeward boat. It looks like they're moving apart. We tried to favor the buoy end. There's the start right there. Looks like it's all clear. And 5220 is right on the line, going fast. 2760 is also on the line, going fast, and actually now it looks like they are in the lead, because if the other boats had to tack because of the port starboard rule, they're going to be ahead of them. The port tackers would have to duck them. And notice how their weight is up forward, out on the rail. That's fast. They've got about a mile weather leg, so a lot can happen in that mile. Here we are at the start of the Harbor 20 class, and the green boat is down on the favored end, but they're early. I think they were probably over at the start. Yes, they're calling them over, and they must go restart, and they may not interfere with any other boats. But in these higher winds, they can't hear. So there should always be a tactician on board who is looking back at the race committee to just see if they were in fact over or not. So they will be scored OCS. That means on the course side, or really just means over the line at the start. So right now, it looks like Barbie, that's the starboard tacker here, could be in the lead. Filbert is pulling ahead of them, though. So Barbie's tacking away. And there goes Peanut. Actually, Peanut may be in the lead of this race if they can get ahead of Filbert. And it looks like they will cross safely ahead of Filbert. So I say Peanut is in the lead right now. Now, when you're in the lead, you want to always cover your competition, and you do that by staying in between them and your next objective on these weather legs. So you don't want to let close competition get too far away from you. Now the blue boat is in the wind shadow of this boat, so they may want to think about either getting in pointing mode and point up, get on the hip of this boat and get a clear lane of air, or just tack away, take a short tack, go clear your air and come back in a clean lane of air, because they're being affected by the wind shadow and falling behind. Here come the Scots on their downwind run, and 5220 and 3423 are very close. Harbor 20 class, they're approaching their weather mark, and it looks like Violet, who went all the way left and caught a little bit of a left shift, pulled ahead and is rounding first. So now they're going to run back down to the finish down there by those tall buildings. And if I was the green boat, I would go on the attack with this red sail boat. And I like the way they're winging their jib. It's getting a little extra sail area working out there, but the helmsman needs to head up a little bit to fill that jib. He's a little bit by the lee. And if they heel that boat to weather about 15 degrees, you reduce the wetted surface and go faster than a boat that's sailing flat like the red sail boat. All right, so there's Barbie coming around and being sailed by Sasank. He just learned how to sail like 3-4 years ago. And he's doing real well for a newbie. And Filbert, number 1, should go on the attack like they're doing, get the boat ahead in their wind shadow, and try and slow down that boat and pass them. So you see how number 1 is blanketing number 2, and they're doing a good job of going on the attack, getting them in their wind shadow. But number 1, Filbert, needs to get their main out further. It's not trimmed correctly. You see how on number 2 he's pushing that boom all the way out? That's the correct trim. They need to get that boom out further. It's just not in the best sail trim position. But they are doing a good job of winging the jib. And see how they're passing the other boat? Now, if they can keep their wind clear, they can probably pass number 2, because we only have about 300 yards to the finish. Whoa, it's a photo finish here, and I have a feeling that Peanut, the green boat, won that race. So Paul, the blue boat, is next. And then we have a little battle developing here between these other 2 boats. So we'll get another race started right away. Here we are at the start of race number 2 with 1 minute to go for the Harbor 20s. The Scots prefer much longer courses, so they're still on their second weather leg. They'll go back up to their weather mark and then run that back down to the finish. All right, so we have 35 seconds to go. I like how this green boat is up on the line. They just don't want to be early like they were last race over the line. And the blue boat is barging. They really have no rights in there, so they need to be very careful. And these leeward boats are forcing the windward boats up. All right, there's about 15 seconds to go. I think. Oh, there's the start. Sorry, I was a little off on the time. All right, so this boat number 2 here, Barbie, probably won the start. Now I say that because these boats further down the line look like they're ahead, but if they had to tack and they couldn't cross Barbie, they'd have to duck Barbie because of the port starboard rule. That's why I'm saying Barbie's in the lead. Let's see what happens. Here we are at the weather mark, and Peanut will round first. They got a good start over there on that other end of the line. The wind shifted a little bit left, so the boats on the left got an advantage, and that's why they're leading the pack here at the first mark. And the blue boat tacked a little too soon. They may have trouble laying this mark. Now, if you need a few more degrees of pointing ability, just get your crew to leeward, trim your sails in really tight, and you can squeak around. But they realize that they're not going to lay it, so they're going to go around. So they gave up a second place, because they misjudged that ley line. All right, now Violet, this red sail boat, should get on the wind of this other boat if they're smart and gas them. And if you're the other boat, you want to just keep a clear lane of air. Just get away from them. All right, so here comes the blue boat. Next around. And Filbert, this one here in fourth, just needs to get their jib out further. And when you're sailing dead downwind with a winged jib, you have to work very carefully between the jib trimmer and the helmsperson, because it's a balancing act to keep that sail full. But if you can do it, you're going to be fast. This Flying Scot is performing a maneuver known as heave to, and you trim your jib on the windward side and just let your main out, and the boat just sits there nice and steadily in the water, so you can eat lunch or relax and make a repair or just do nothing. So Peanut is going to take the honors in race number 2, followed by Violet, and then we have a little bit of a race going on for third place, and I think that Barbie's going to take it. Now, if they need to keep their angle hot so they don't get passed by Filbert, and you do that by maybe heading up just a little higher than the other boat so that you maintain higher speed. I like the way this red sail boat is heeling the boat to windward. You see how everybody's on that starboard side, heeling the boat up. It reduces your wetted surface, which reduces drag. So it makes you go a little bit faster. All right. We have some tight racing here at Saturday Racing. Here we are at the start of race number 3 with the Harbor 20s, and we have about 50 seconds to go. And again, this green boat is getting lined up. They're up on the starting line. I like how they do that. I think this is a good way to approach the start. Followed by Violet. So these are the boats to beat here. And you see how they're up on the line. Now, number 2 is to leeward of the red sail boat and can take them up. In other words, they have the right over the windward boat. And now this boat, number 1, is barging. They need to be very careful because they have no rights to go in there, and they can get shut out. All right, so, well, there was the start, and Violet was up on the line going fast, so was Barbie, and Peanut wasn't too far behind. Filbert, right here, was also up on the line and may be winning the race right now. Okay, so now the Scots are finishing their course, and this looks like the winner in that class, 53.21. Followed by this black hull boat. So 53.21. Oh yeah, they've been leading this race, but I think this boat with the yellow spinnaker passed Air America back here at some point. All right, so back to the Harbor 20s. Filbert is sailing a little higher, a little closer to the wind than the rest of the boat, so she's gauging to windward better, and she may be winning this race if she can keep her speed up and not slow down. Because when you head a little too close to the wind, you start slowing down. And although you point closer to your objective, if you slow down too much, you're going to lose your lead. Here we are at the start of the Flying Scots race number 2. And we have about 55 seconds to go. And I like how this boat is getting situated up on the line. About 45 seconds. Winds increased to about 12, maybe 13. like how Air America 5220 came in on port to find their hull and they tacked into them. This is a very aggressive way of starting, but it can pay big dividends. But, ooh, that was the starting signal, and they were almost over the line. Now, 6109 started early, so they were over. And right now, it looks like 2760, Maggie May, could be in the lead. Let's see what happens. So 5321 tack. They were in the wind shadow of the other boat, so they tacked to clear their air. Now remember, every time you tack, you lose a few boat lengths. In these winds, you might lose 2 boat lengths if you don't do your tack just right. Now, here come the Harbor 20s on their run to the finish, and Violet is leading the pack, followed by Peanut and Filbert. Now, they're on starboard tack, and the Scott is on port, so starboard tack has the right of way. Port tack must stay clear. And the Harbors are going for their finish. And all right, we're at the start of the next race for the Harbor 20s, and you have to be careful if you're the windward boat in a barging position, because the leeward boat has right of way, and they can luff all the way head to wind and block you from getting to the starting line. So you have to be careful. Now, if you're not overlapped, it's not a problem. So you have to adjust your speed to stay out of that vulnerable position. Now, looks like Peanut is setting themselves up for a really good start. They just need to get up on that line, keep that boat moving fast, get your weight up, and there's the start right there. It looks like all clear, and I think Peanut may have won that start, but they need to get their main in. It's out a little too far, and keep your sails full. Keep it moving. Now, Violet is moving faster than Peanut and may pull out ahead. So I'm going to say Violet's in the lead right now. They won the start. They've got really good sail trim, good crew weight position. Peanut's tacking probably because they were getting a little backwind from Violet. And actually, it looks like the wind went a little bit left, so port tack may be the closer tack to the mark. And if so, Violet needs to think about tacking soon. Yeah, because they need to cover their competition. And a lot of top flight sailors tell me that they've lost more races by not covering than for any other reason. You know, when you go way off to the left like that, if these 3 boats get just one little 5-degree shift to the right, they're going to pull ahead because their angle's going to be more favorable. All right, now Filbert tacked way over there, and now Violet should really tack in front of them if they can. And they are. Good. Here are the Scots coming on their first downwind leg. Wow, what a beautiful day out here. It's amazing you don't see more people out on the bay. And Air America's got it hooked up. I see them heading down in the puffs and up in the light spots. That's a good thing. All right, so the Harbor 20s are going around their weather mark, and the blue boat, Paul, is in first. And if I was the red sailboat, I'd go on the attack and try and get the blue boat in my wind shadow. And if you're the blue boat, you want to try and stay in a clean lane of air that's not disturbed. The boat with the red sail is being blanketed by Filbert, and you see how their sails just kind of crumping out there, which is allowing the blue boat to escape, get away. Ooh, and now Peanut jibed, and they really oversteered. So when you oversteer like that and head back upwind, you lose quite a bit. So they lost the boat there. Now the blue boat needs to be careful and keep their air clear. Don't get in the wind shadow of one of these other boats. So they may need to head up just a little bit. And they can jibe back over at the end, but you don't want to get blanketed by somebody close by astern. I like how the red sail boat has a little heel going on there. They're heeling the boat to windward about 10 degrees, 15 degrees, and they look fast, but, well, they're not passing them yet. So we're getting close to the finish. Here's the line and the race committee boat. So it looks like the blue boat is going to maintain their lead and win the race, followed by probably Filbert. And then Violet. Alright, so this Scott is on their final windward leg of this race. Going fast. Here we are at the start of the last race of the day for the Harbor 20s. That was the 1 minute signal. So the same boats that have been at the front of the pack are getting lined up on the line, and I like how they're doing that. And the green boat seems to be just right on the line. I like that. That's good. Barbie's looking like they're going to have a really good start. Okay, that was the start. All's clear. Nobody was over the line. And I believe that Barbie, number 2, won that start. They just need to get their main in, maybe trim the jib a little, and point with the rest of the boats. Because right now they have their sails eased out too far. And he's pinching too. So they're falling behind. And Violet is just sailing the boat better. They have their sails trimmed in just right in pointing mode. The crew is up on the high side, up forward. So I would say Violet's in the lead right now. Mark and Violet is first around. They've been consistently starting very well. And they seem to have the best boat speed consistently. And Peanut also has been getting good aggressive starts on the line going fast, and I think this is why these two are consistently up front. All right, here comes Paul, the blue boat. And you have to steer with the sails as well as the rudder on these Harbor 20s because the rudders are relatively small. So you have to remember to ease that main out in order to head downwind. Here we are at the finish. Looks like Violet's going to hold their lead. Yeehaw! Alright, this will be the last race of the day for the Harbor 20s. We're going to head in, have some refreshments, awards, and a quick debriefing. Beautiful day out here on Biscayne Bay off of the city of Miami, which is right over there. All right, and will the crew of Violet please come forward? We don't skip on awards around here.
Thank you.
Good job. Excellent job.
Thank you.
All right, and the winners for May 11th, 2019. See you next week.